This is massive for the Phoenix Suns as we finally got a look at this new look Suns team on the court together. Yes, the Suns were in action in preseason against the Los Angeles Lakers, and we saw some really good things heading into the season, particularly what we saw from the bench. We are going to break it all down as the Suns were able to walk away with a win right here on Suns Digest. My name is CJ Pierre. Thanks for joining us. You guys, the Phoenix Suns getting a win in their preseason opener. We're going to break down what happened in the game, and we're going to see how that could play into what the Suns look like in this upcoming season here on this show. Before we get into that, we noticed that about 81% of you guys have been watching our videos, and we appreciate that, but you haven't subscribed to the channel just yet. If you want to make sure you keep an update with all the latest Suns news and updates, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a thing that we're going to have cooking up for you guys. All right, let's get into this one. The Phoenix Suns, in their preseason opener, taking on the Los Angeles Lakers, and the Suns were able to get one up and beat the Lakers in the preseason. Now, this was the Lakers' second preseason game, but it was the first where they kind of went out there with their majority of their complement of players. LeBron James played in this game. Anthony Davis played in this game. Austin Reeves, D'Angelo Russell, basically the all the Lakers heavy hitters. Basically, the entire Phoenix Suns also played their opening lineup, minus Yusuf Nurkic, who was dealing with a finger injury. Now let's take a look at the final score of this game. It was 118 to 114. The Phoenix Suns closing things out late in the game. The Los Angeles Lakers kind of were controlling the game over the course of the first and second quarters, but then when the Suns went full reserves in the second half, that's when they were able to take over, including an 11-point advantage in the fourth quarter to earn the Suns that 4-point win. Now, if we take a look at the team stats over the course of the game, Suns shooting 44% from the field, 44% from the field, 41% from 3-point range. There were 18 turnovers, which is typical over the course of preseason. A lot of these guys haven't played together, most of them stepping on the court for the first time. And then they had 50 rebounds, out rebound the Lakers only by one, but it was a very good outcome for the Lakers, yeah, for the Suns in this game. And it is a very positive sign moving forward over the course of this season, particularly when it comes to what we saw on the court. Now, my favorite part was the big three finally getting a point guard, finally seeing Tyus Jones in action with Bradley Beal, with Devin Booker, and with Kevin Durant. And it was glorious to see. It's what we have been crying for, pining for, praying for right here on this podcast. You guys have been right there with us. The Suns finally getting the point guard. We saw the lineup that is seemingly intended, at least for the time being, out there right now. To take a look at what the starters looked like in this game. Tyus Jones out there with Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, and Kevin Durant. Mason Plumlee starting in place of Yusuf Nurkic. And when we take a look at the guys, they played, in the teens in terms of minutes. Obviously, you're not going to play starters the entire game. If we look at what the offense looked like with the Suns, there were some pretty key takeaways. One thing I like to point out is Devin Booker started off really high. He went 3 for 6 from 3-point range. He was really the catalyst, and really the offense ran through him. Tyus Jones really did a great job of putting Booker in good positions to create himself some really good looks at the basket. Booker kind of cooled off over the course of the second quarter, and that's where his shooting percentage kind of dropped to shooting 4 for 12. But he started off really nicely when everything, all the starters were out there on the court. Booker finished with 12 points. I expect Booker to continue that hot streak coming off of what he did in the Olympics. Tyus Jones, meanwhile, doing what he does best. Assist to turnover ratio, great. 6 assists, only one turnover in 19 minutes. He also went 3 for 3 on threes, Tyus did, and that's really going to be huge with this Phoenix Suns offense. His ability to shoot, stretch the floor, and be accounted for on the offensive end is really going to be something that, takes a lot of that attention away from the big three. Elsewhere, Kevin Durant kind of struggled, went 3 for 10, 0 for 3 from 3 point range and missed his only free throw attempt. He did have 5 rebounds, had a plus minus of 9, finishing with 6 points. Bradley Beal did, really good attacking the basket, was 6 for 6 from the free throw line, but also struggled a little bit with his shot. Went 2 for 7, 1 for 3 from 3 point range, finishing with 11 points, but minus 3. The starters really kind of got a little bit dominated by the Lakers in certain respects. It was kind of hard to see, you know, the team just kind of undersized, really, with Mason Plumlee out there dealing with Anthony Davis. LeBron James was really aggressive in this game. I don't know if that necessarily meant, had anything to do with Bronny also playing in the game, that being the first time that a father son duo played on NBA court together. Obviously, it was a preseason game, so, you have to take that with a grain of salt, if that the real history would be made if they are able to do that in the regular season. But the Suns podcast. So the Lakers were really dominant on the glass, particularly when the starters were in. So that will be something that the Suns will definitely have to deal with and contend with moving forward when they have to deal with some of these bigger teams. Hopefully, Kevin Durant will be able to be a much bigger factor on the boards, and then Yusuf Nurkic as well. He is a solid rebounder. As we've noted, the Nurkic has slimmed down a little bit, but we'll have to see where he is once his health comes back into play. So all around, there's some good and bad with the Sun starters. Tyus Jones, I think, looked really good in being the orchestrator of the offense. Booker started off hot. I really think it's gonna depend on who's gonna be the hot hand in any given game, who's gonna get the most shots, and which guy is flowing over the course of the offense, and then we'll have to see what Yusuf Nurkic looks like once he heals up. But the true highlight of this game, in my opinion, and the thing I want to talk about the most is what the Phoenix Suns bench did, and the bench really shined in this game. I thought that this was where the Suns' depth in terms of the additions that they made over the course of the offseason really, really came through, and they shined in this win. I think that it preseason is really important in terms of what you think the bench outlook is going to look like for a team. Obviously, the starters aren't going to play the entire time. You're going to see a lot of reserves, a lot of rookies, and seeing what they have to offer. But really, it's going to be these guys and what they, are able to contribute because they're also going up against other reserve guys. And these are going to be the minutes that are going to be really important for NBA teams. So seeing what these guys do in the preseason, I think, is important and something that you can peel back from. So let's take a look at the Suns bench. We'll take a look at all the guys that played in the rotation. They did not hold anybody back. Basically, if you were, on the bench and you are fighting for a spot in this rotation, you played some minutes in this game. The only guys maybe not factoring in so much, maybe Jalen Bridges and Frank Kaminsky. But other than that, Royce O'Neal played. He's going to be a big factor in the rotation. We know this. Monte Morris saw some minutes. He's going to be the backup point guard for this team. Grayson Allen played 21 minutes. But there are two guys I want to highlight. I'm going to start with second round pick Oso Ighodaro. He was the starter, first guy off the bench in terms of big man, replacing Mason Plumlee. Obviously, that's happening because of the Nurkic injury, but I think he showed himself really well. Went 6 for 8 from the field with 4 rebounds, 5 assists, got a block shot as well and a steal, getting 12 points. I think he really is going to be able to make a case for himself to possibly get some reserve big man minutes in this rotation. He's going to be battling it out with Bol probably for that position. I know that Plumlee's probably got the backup center role locked down, but I think Iguodaro can make a case for himself. But the other guy that I really want to highlight, and the guy who basically won the game for the Phoenix Suns, was Josh Okogie. And we're going to get a little bit more into what Okogie did in just a second here. I think Josh Okogie was really the key factor in the Suns getting this win in this preseason game. He was really, really efficient shooting in this game and really made a huge impact in terms of what the Suns were able to do offensively in the second half. Okogie finished the game with 15 points, going 6 for 9 from the field, 2 for 3 on 3 point range, including a go-ahead three late in the fourth quarter. Made one of his 2 free throw attempts. He also finished with 5 rebounds, 2 assists, and 3 steals across the 16 minutes. He led the Suns in scoring in this game. Really rare for Josh Okogie. He's known as a defensive stopper, but he was also responsible for those 3 of the team's 8 steals in this game. And I think Okogie's really someone that I think Suns fans might want to keep an eye on. When you take, I'm not really factoring in Okogie right now in the Suns rotation, but given the money that he's making, you kind of have to. It makes me rethink that, and then seeing what he did in this game, I really think that Josh Okogie is someone that Mike Budenholzer is really going to like and really is going to want to use in really crucial situations, particularly to match him up against another team's best player. And if his shot is finally falling, that's going to be let's allow Okogie to see even more minutes. I think Okogie was my MVP of this game, the clear player of the game for the Suns. With a finishing slight second would be also Iguodaro, in my opinion. But Josh Okogie, I think, in this game alone, earned the right to be talked about in terms of who are going to be the players that come off the bench for the Suns team. I think Grayson Allen's got a lockdown spot. Royce O'Neal's got a locked in spot. Monte Morris has got a locked in spot. You can kind of say Mason Plumlee as well, but I think there's going to be a real conversation in terms of who gets, those 10th man minutes over the course of the regular season and the uptick in minutes if there's a player that needs rest or if there's an injury. Right now, I think a lot of us have been led to believe that it's going to be Bol that gets those minutes. But based on what happened in this preseason game and how the minutes were dispersed out, I think there's an argument to be made that it's either Josh Okogie and even also Iguodaro could make a case to get that kind of 10th man spot and or see those 10th man minutes. Mike Budenholzer, for all we know, may want to expand his rotation, may want to go 11 guys deep over the course of the regular season. I don't think that's very likely, but because it's not just really how the NBA seems to work. You don't really play 11 guys. You kind of normally see rotations around capped at 9 to 10. 10 really being the max in most cases. But Mike Budenholzer, I think he knows the limitations of his team in terms of, their lack of size, particularly when it comes to the rebounding department, and also knows that this team has struggled with health in the past. And I think he's going to be looking to keep the big three fresh as he can over the course of the regular season, and also try and utilize his reserves as much as possible. Because I think the Suns really have a lot of quality depth, even if someone goes down due to injury. And I think this game against the Lakers proved that. But that's just what I think. We want to hear from you guys. Let us know in the comment section after you see this Suns team in action for the first time, this new look Suns team, this new look Suns squad in action. We want to hear what you guys think of what you guys saw. Let us know in the comments, and we're going to be breaking down everything over the course of this preseason as we head into this upcoming season. We're going to break down every preseason game, see what we like, see what we don't like, and start see if we can parse out what this team is going to look like heading into the season. As we all know, it is championship or bust, and we are hoping that they're going to be able to bring the Larry O'Brien Trophy to Phoenix, Arizona. That's all the time I got for you guys today. Appreciate you joining me for this one. If you want to keep up to date with all the latest Suns news and updates, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a thing. And I will catch you guys next time. And go Phoenix Suns.